3 preseason games are in the books, so let's talk about what we've seen so far. Let's Talk Lions. Woo! Hey, welcome back to an all-new episode here at Let's Talk Lions. Thank you to everybody for being here. Preseason is almost in the books, right? We got one more game. It's against Houston this coming week, which is exciting because that means the actual season is here, which is kind of crazy. I don't know. It feels like this offseason flew by. But a lot of key things, a lot of key stones, if you will, pillars that I'm seeing unfold, that you're probably seeing unfold throughout this entire preseason training camp kit and caboodle. So some of those things that I have seen that are important, pretty much 3 pillars, maybe 4 pillars of importance coming out of preseason, coming out of training camp, heading into the 2025 season is first and foremost, Brad Holmes knows exactly what he's doing. He just does. He does. And I know it's weird because during the draft season, there's this part of us, right? Myself included, many of you who kind of go on to this rant of like, what about draft value? Was this the right move? Going up and getting this guy, dropping like, and those are fair questions. And we as fans have to ask those questions. Well, I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said, like you have to question authority. You have to actually take the time to question it. Otherwise, you're just a drone. You're just kind of following, and that's not good. But in questioning Brad Holmes, I think we're always coming out on the other side saying, yeah, he did the right thing. Yeah, there's a couple guys. There's a couple guys who we miss on. Chase Lucas is no longer here. Levi Onwuzurike has all the talent in the world, but he's always injured. And Hendon Hooker, great example of just kind of missing, right? And I think there's a level of affording to miss when you're knocking out of the park all these other guys, especially later rounds in the draft. But Brad Holmes, throughout this training camp, some of the guys, Tyleik Williams, Tate Ratledge, great picks. Everything I'm seeing from them in the preseason is looking good since Atlanta. But really, Isaac TeSlaa. That's like pillar number 2. It's kind of like a Brad Holmes is doing what he's supposed to do, but really seeing that shine through Isaac TeSlaa and all that this kid has to offer. Bro, 6'4", big-bodied, uses his body, and we saw it again against the Finns last night, where he uses his body to pivot out, push this guy back, uses the body to block, get up, uses his hands, and he goes and gets the ball. And that's one thing I love about him. Is he's not waiting for that ball to get to him. I'm seeing time and time again, he goes and gets it, and I love that. He's got incredible hands, just doesn't drop the ball. This game against the Finns, again, proving who he is and that he's got a place on this team. And that Brad Holmes went and got him in the 3rd round, which is a great pickup, and we had to do what we had to do. You got to get him. And people look and they're like, I think that, Isaac TeSlaa is going to be a dog for the Detroit Lions. He's really going to give Tim Patrick a run for his money at that wide receiver 3 job, right? Now, I think Timmy P, as a veteran, has it locked down early, but if TeSlaa continues at the rate in which he is showing up, my man might be out of a job week 8, week 9. Come Thanksgiving, like Isaac TeSlaa could be splitting reps, if not taking the majority at wide receiver 3. Plus, he offers something on the special team side, and we're seeing that, and I love it. I love TeSlaa. I love the dog in him. I love the way he goes and gets the ball, uses his big frame to block out DBs. He's a stud. Brad Holmes hits on this one. Huge pickup for the Lions, draft pick for the Lions, and I'm really loving the way this guy comes and plays the game of football here in Detroit. Number 2, in the case that Jared Goff goes down, we got Kyle Allen. And I think Kyle Allen's doing a heck of a job proving that he could be a backup quarterback. Some people don't care. And if you're one of those fans where you're like, whatever, it's just a backup quarterback, I'll see you later this season in case something bad happens. Because you need a guy who can manage. I even look at, it was the Packers last year. Jordan Love goes down week 1 against Philly. And then they bring in, what was his name, Malik Willis. And that man was able to sustain the Packers, and I believe, I could be wrong, give them 2 or 3 W's. Like, he brought the Packers along, and that ends up helping them get to the playoffs, obviously. But Malik Willis was able to get in there with the right pieces around him, with the right coaching, with the, all of it. And so when I look at Kyle Allen and I imagine him behind Decker and Sewell, Ratledge, Glasgow. Like, when you imagine that with Monty and Gibbs and the entire 1A offense, I feel very comfortable because of what he's doing. And you know, some people point and they're like, well, it's against, you know, DB4, DB3. And it's fair. However, you put him behind our number one offense, the A team, the one team, like the one squad, I'm going to feel really good, really confident in comparison to, I think Hendon Hooker's just kind of, we've seen the end and we've seen him fizzle out. Kyle Allen goes 14 for 17, 124 yards, obviously throwing 2 TDs, one to Meeks, one to TeSlaa. And he just looks good. He looks confident. He looks comfortable. He's got the vision, and I love it. I love it. I love the way he moves. I love everything that he is doing, proving to me that as quarterback two, I feel confident. If there is a moment where Goff goes down and we see him on the sideline, I'll feel pretty good based on what I have seen. Now, I mean, he's going up against, as much as he's got his first stringers alongside him, he's going up against first stringers. So what'll that look like? It's going to take some adjustment, but there is a confidence level where I'm like, yeah, we can still win these games. I think we can still win these games. So that's huge. It's nice to finally have a situation in which I feel comfortable with a backup quarterback. Didn't feel it back when it was Chase Daniel for Matty Stafford. Didn't feel it when it was David Blau and Tim Boyle and Nate Sudfeld. Finally, for the first time in 5 years, 6 years, it's like, okay, at least there's confidence if Goff goes down. Lastly, one of the bigger pillars for me has to be the way that the coaching has adjusted and adapted. We lost big names. We lost some great guys. We lost some creative minds and some culture setters. And at the same time, somebody like you think of Tashard Choice, right? We bring him in to be our running backs coach. We move Scotty Montgomery up to the wide receiver, special assistant. But with Choice, now as the running backs coach, it's a guy that Dan Campbell's had his eyes on for a couple of years. He's a guy that Campbell mentioned, hey, I've been looking at him. I've been looking to him. He's a guy who maybe wasn't ready yet or took a different position, moved on, and it wasn't time. We didn't have the slot. Now we do. And even watching him come in, hard-nosed dude, knowing that he's got Monty and Gibbs, but also seeing Craig Reynolds play better. Seeing Craig Reynolds perform at a higher, and again, it's training camp and it's preseason, but I got to believe that there's something in the water there. Because at the same time, you go and get Sailors, who's looking really good in these preseason games. Tough, gritty, head down, nose grinding guy who's moving the chains on second, third down just to kind of get us to that next set. And I love that. I love that. I think Tashard Choice is a huge, huge asset that maybe has gone under the radar over this offseason because everybody's focus is on Ben Johnson. Everybody's focus is on Aaron Glenn leaving. It's on, can John Morton get the job done? Yeah, but who does John Morton also have around him? He's still got Scotty Montgomery. Yeah, we lost Anton Randall. That one hurts. Antoine Randall, phenomenal. I hate that he went to Chicago, but at the same time, we still got Scotty, right? You bring in Choice. I love that. I think as much as some of the personnel has moved on and we've lost some big hitters, big players, but we keep Hank Fraley, you get Tashard Choice. There are these elements. Kelvin Shepard moves up. The coaching carousel that the Lions have undergone is tough, and it's something that I think is a fair worry. It's a fair, but at the same time, I don't think these guys are going to miss a beat. I really don't. John Morton, I've said it 100 times, knowing that he was a part of the build. Now watching him, he's going to unleash JMO on these routes. Watching TeSlaa actually add a few more routes in this last game against the Finns. There's this level of comfortability, and I know people, week 1 against the Packers, we're going to hear it 5 times about Ben Johnson. We're going to hear it 3 times about Aaron Glenn and about the suffering, the loss, the blow. But can these guys do it? Yeah, I think they can do it. I think the pillars, because at the helm is still our captain. It's still Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's going to choose the guys that he believes in, that he looks at, that he says, you're a part of the culture, you're a part of who we are, you're a part of how I run this thing. We are kin. And I think that's kind of one of the best things is there's this kinship that Campbell always seems to hone in on when it comes to getting players, but really coaches, right? Because him and Brad Holmes tied at the hip. There's a kinship. They are kin. They think like one mind. And they do that when it comes to picking up coaches as well, hiring coaches. So Tashard Choice, I think, under the radar, solid acquisition, gonna be phenomenal. Cannot wait to see the way that he continues to up these running backs' performance. Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery, Craig Reynolds, Sailors, the whole kit and caboodle. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And I really think that these pillars of the Lions heading into 2025 season are solid. They're a solid foundation. They are a cornerstone because Dan Campbell's there and he's getting the right guys. And we're still doing everything that we got to do. And you know what? If people want to write us off and they want to write the Lions off and say, well, it ain't their year because they lost this and they lost that, so be it. We'll play the guys. They'll play with that chip on their shoulder, and I love that. So Lions, Dolphins, you see a lot. We know Kyle Allen's that QB2. You know TeSlaa is the guy. I got some Vaki. Oh, man, that's another guy who didn't even really get into now that he's finally off that injury. I think it was a hamstring. But here he is. He's back. He looks good. There's so much excitement heading into 2025 in this squad. But that is it. That is it for today. I'll keep you updated as we continue to head into Houston. We'll have a post-game show. Went on vacation this last weekend, and it was lovely. Just went to the lake. Got to look out. Great Lakes officially have submerged in all 5 Great Lakes at this point. Because we went to Erie. Went and visited some family. And first time I've ever swam in Erie. Look, it's not Huron. It ain't Michigan. And it's sure as hell not Superior. You know what I'm talking about? But finally submerged in all 5 Great Lakes. 99% of America's fresh water has washed over me. That's a weird way to put it, but that's where we're at. Really excited for some great news coming out here in the next couple weeks for the show. Some really big things happening. And once that is on the dotted line, I'm very excited to be able to share that with you. And until then, enjoy the day. Enjoy the last days, the waning days of summer before the Lions take on the Packers. Going to have a Packers fan on the show. We're going to talk about that. Excited. But until then, I'll catch you next time on Let's Talk Lions.